All right. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode number 44. Today's dialogue will be with my new friend, JJ Dallo, out of Southfield, Michigan. So I've sent the invitations and everything. So we'll give him a couple minutes to come on board with us, and we will go from there. Um, let's see. I can tell you that next Friday's dialogue should be at regular time of 3 p.m. Eastern time, and should be with George Johnston out of Hybrid, I think it's called Hybrid Fight Academy. In 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 England somewhere, in the United Kingdom somewhere. I haven't done all of my research on it. Okay, so it says that Mr. Dallo is watching, but it doesn't say that he is coming on camera. So give him a second.
Okay. Wait.
Do you have a headset?
Yeah.
How's that?
That's better. Can you hear me? No. Should I confess to you guys that we didn't test the technology?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I was
Sorry.
I was just confessing that we didn't test the technology like yesterday.
Right.
But okay, but nobody should think that we are not consummate professionals. All right. Right. So how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good to see you.
My pleasure. Listen, I got to ask you this. So Ajahn Chai at the Southeast Conference in 2000
Yes.
awarded you fastest kick.
Right.
How come I don't know? I feel like I only met you a few years ago in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think at that point, that's when I started to travel on my own instead of
Okay.
only staying in Michigan under my instructor at that time. I decided to start to travel and meet my JKD family. That was important to me. So that's when you and I only met at that time in Atlanta.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to reacquaint myself with you.
I'm so lucky. Thank you.
But I gotta tell the viewing audience, right? David Hatches is on, so he'll get a kick out of this, right?
All right.
But I think that you are probably the first person that I've had on the dialogues with me who is as detail oriented as I am. Right? Or as I sometimes am, right? So just so everybody knows, Mr. Dallo made sure to send me the topics that he wanted to discuss. Right?
I gotta let everybody know. No, just kidding. I did it, I guess, to help, because you said,
I appreciate it. No, actually, because then it really does give me a whole lot of insight into what's going on in my dialogue partner's head, but also what is probably going on in the minds and the heads of a lot of the people who will end up watching this.
Right.
You know, but I want you to break down some stuff for me though. So I know that you've got a boxing experience.
Yes.
I estimate that you were born in the late 70s or so, right? You don't have to reveal anything, right?
Okay.
But was boxing your first martial art experience? Did you do the karate thing before you got involved in the JKD world?
So I was born 1977. That's okay. And
that's exactly what I picked.
Did you really? Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah, I was born. It's really funny because I was born in the year of the dragon and the hour of the dragon. And I just found that out about 3 years ago. I just found that out. And so when I found that out, I realized, oh my gosh, like it's incumbent upon me to really walk that. So yeah, but okay. My first exposure to actual martial art instruction was I was about 8 years old. There was a lady on our block, like 2 houses away, and she was actually one of my best friend's moms.
Okay.
And so my friend Mike and I, played Legos, played Army, all that stuff. And but she was really into martial arts. I mean, I loved it. I loved going over there and watching her do her sword work and watching her do her staff work. And I just said, I was like, I need to learn this. My friend Mike didn't care. My other friends didn't care about it,
Yeah.
But I was like, Nancy, can you teach me? Can you teach me? And so we would have informal sessions. I'd go over there. We'd go out and probably scare half the block, but we'd go on the driveway. Because it's beautiful sunny day. We go on the driveway, and she would teach me her sword form, her sword, kata at the time. It was she was teaching. She was learning kung fu sword play, but sometimes with Japanese swords. Sometimes she had this mixed sort of eclectic background.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where you started.
Yes, sir.
And you stayed in that for a long time, or?
I stayed. I'm 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. It was a mix. It was juggling, playing basketball, and training martial arts. Basketball was another passion of mine, and I'm so grateful for basketball because of the athleticism that it gave me, the ability to jump, and the speed that it gave me, the agility. The attributes that it helped me develop were just phenomenal. And I used that in my fights, in my competition, in my training. And I felt like nothing was impossible. That's kind of how it started, because I was watching, Bruce Lee movies and things like that. And I used to watch, I said, I can do that. I can do that. All that he did that flip, it was a Bruce Lee double. But I'm gonna take gymnastics. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well, so that well, I know also you're a big exponent, because you're silver glove in boxe française.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that means that love of acrobatic and agility stuff, you never lost the love for that.
No, still train it. I still want to. You had a great interview with Harinder, and he said, I like how he was talking about when he was in his 20s, and then he had that car accident, right?
Yeah.
And then now he's, I think my age, I think he's 41 now, or 40 or 41, and he said he's doing things now that he never dreamt of being able to do before. I feel like I'm still physically, I'm still working on things that maybe I wasn't able to do before, just to be able to do it. I know that doing a 360 kick, we know in the JKD community, we know it's not practical. We understand that, but it's so fun to be able to do it.
Looks good.
Yeah. Professor Salem says, and Guru Dan says, hey, if you can, keep working on your high kick.
Yeah.
You may not be able to do it as you get older, but if you can at least do, let's say a Rovera, if you could do a crescent kick high, then imagine what you could do midsection or low.
That is one of Professor Salem's axioms that I always carry over to my students is when he said, he who can do more can do less,
That's beautiful.
you know?
That's a beautiful. That's great.
And so, yeah, so I've always, I always attribute, when I use that quote, I always give my students the source of it, which was Salem Asli. All right.
That's great.
Okay. So there's boxing. There's what led you to specific JKD training then?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't think I answered that question fully. I was in high school, and as soon as I got my driver's license, because my parents did it, they were not into that. My parents were into academics, scholarship. That's your future. You're going to be an engineer. You're going to, that's what, this karate stuff that you're doing. And of course they call it karate. My parents were, they're transplants from Iraq, so they don't care about this stuff. Right. So as soon as I got my driver's license, I was driving around to find a school, because Nancy, my neighbor, she was working, full time. She had a school that she went to sort of, but she recommended that I also learn Aikido. Okay. So I found a school under Sensei. Oh man, he was a samurai lineage sensei in Aikido. I was there only about 6 months, and that's where she was going. But I would go at like different times. I liked it. It's funny because my first no holds barred fight, the first match in the tournament that day, I finished with an armbar. But the armbar for me was not from BJJ. Right. I learned the armbar from Aikido in 1995. Yeah. I didn't know what BJJ, 1993, 94, we know, okay, Hoist Gracie, he did his thing. Yeah. But BJJ wasn't a household name. Right. So in my first match in that semi-underground freestyle, we called it freestyle, because anything went. You could kick to the groin, you could gouge to the eyes with your
Why in heaven's name did you get involved in that?
Because I had to show that I was 18, and I had to show myself that I was, what am I doing all this for? I had to show the world. I had to do something. A friend of mine in high school, super talented, I'll never forget, Carlos, came up to me and he said, Jay, check this out. He showed me the flyer. He showed me the flyer, and it was Michigan's first freestyle competition, the challenge of blood, sweat, and tears, right? Right. At first I was like, oh, I'm not, at first I was, and then I said, I can do this. And so I started training in my basement. I had a heavy bag. I still have that heavy bag. And started training. Training. And I was going to Sam Kazmika's karate, in the Madison Heights area. And I was learning kickboxing. That's why I was starting to learn my jab, my cross, and my kicking and everything. I entered the tournament. I entered it. He was there. My brother was there. My uncle was there. We didn't have iPhones to record it. And my one nephew, Max, who was like 13 years old, we were like, here, take the camera. The camera's like, it's like this big, here, take the camera, record the fight. And when you watch the video, it's like looking over there and looking over. It's not even, and we threw it away. It was like garbage. I threw it away. But that first one was armbar. I was learning some kickboxing at the time, some Aikido at the time, but I don't think there was some times when I would go on the heavy bag at the karate school and I would start doing battle punches. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was, and my sense, he'd come up to me, he's like, that's not how you hit the bag. Okay. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So because congratulations, because I remember you posted recently that you and your wife are now pregnant.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was in that same post it was in the notes that you sent me where you mentioned that amongst your heroes are the members of the U.S. military. Yeah. And when you were talking about being age 18, I thought to myself, well, why didn't you just go join the Navy SEALs?
Right. Oh my God, that maybe in a different universe, I am doing that. Maybe in one of the multiverses, I am doing that. Okay. I don't know, but why didn't I? Again, it goes back to I respected my parents big time.
Yeah.
I knew that they wanted for my future.
Yeah.
And you know, when I received a scholarship to the University of Michigan, you know, world-class university, I couldn't. That
Yeah,
was
you don't
just
turn that down.
you don't turn it down.
Right.
That's where I went. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
And you graduated 2009
From law school.
from law school.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't go when I graduated from the University of Michigan in December 1999.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I
Okay.
didn't go directly into law school after that. I started my own like a real estate venture. I got
Uh-huh.
into that. I was about 18, 19, 20. No, I'm sorry. No, I graduated. So I was like 22, 23, 24. We're talking 2000, 2001, 2002. I was trying to do my own thing. I was working here, working there. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Law school was always in the back of my mind. My sister who really pushed me academically, she'd come up to me. She said, "Jay, it's not too late to go to law school if you want to." And, you know, this and that. I said, "No, you know, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going
Yeah.
to keep fighting," because by the age of 24, I already had about 22 fights. I already had 22 fights, but I knew I didn't want to do that professionally. I wanted to do something that mixed the arts, my knowledge of competition fighting,
Hmm.
the arts, and to give it to others, to, you know, in a scholarly way, in an athletic scholarly way. I didn't have to
Yeah.
compete for a living.
So you wanted to teach.
I wanted to teach. I wanted to train. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. But then law school comes calling.
I did law school. I was going to law school and training at the same time. I remember training for my Muay Thai apprentice test
Yeah.
while I was also going to law school. So I did take some time off when I had to study for the bar exam.
Yeah.
So that was a, you know, 14-hour day in the
Hmm.
library. So even my first semester in law school, no one saw me. My parents, no one saw me. I was just studying.
Yeah.
That's, you know, law school is a black hole.
Right.
And
And so right out of law school, because that's what I noticed. You graduated in 2009,
right,
and you opened up Dallo Martial Arts in 2009.
2014.
And I read something wrong.
Oh,
Forgive me.
sorry. No,
Yeah.
no, it's okay. 2014, I opened up Dallo Martial Arts. I was
Okay.
running a law. I opened up my own law
Right.
office
That's what it
right away.
was. You opened up your own law
Yeah,
practice in
you got it.
2009.
Right
Same time.
away. I didn't.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I
Yes.
didn't go to work for any of the big law firms or
Right.
anything. I opened up. I wanted to do my own thing and have my own time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you knew in martial art that ultimately you wanted to do your own thing also.
I knew, you know, actually, I knew that not necessarily just do my own thing. I knew that I wanted to positively influence others through the martial arts.
Right.
I knew that. And I would have been happy training at the school that I was at, but then it did that school closed down, this and that. So I said, okay, now it's
Now
time.
it's up to you. Yeah.
Now it's time. So in 2014, when the writing was on the wall,
Hmm.
I had to start looking around, looking for a place, this and that. And so, you know, then it all came together.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So talk to me about the influence of David and Linda Hatch on
Oh,
your
yes,
development.
of course. I would say, especially in the latter part of my career,
Hmm.
because the biggest influence from, say, 1996 to 2013 was Chris Malgeri here in Michigan. He
Hmm.
was my biggest influence. I have a lot to give him credit for. And I would say, though, in the latter part of my career and going forward,
Hmm.
I'm very lucky, very fortunate to have this connection with Sifu Dave and Linda Hatch. It's great. So
Yeah.
yeah, I go and see them. Now that I moved to Sterling Heights, which is a little farther from them, they're about nearly an hour drive. But this year I'm gonna commit to start going back and seeing
Okay.
them as much as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Because the state of Michigan actually plays a pivotal role in my
Yes.
development because
Yeah.
it was in Lansing, Michigan, at Dan
Right.
Timlinsing. That was where
Right.
I met Don Garin.
Okay, Don Garin, awesome guy, man. I love that guy.
I met Don Garin, but
Yeah.
that was where Sifu Inasano accepted me into the instructorship program
Oh,
in
that's awesome.
1985 in Lansing, Michigan. But then in 1987
Mhm.
and 88, Dan Timlin ran the first Mid-Michigan camp.
Mhm.
So this was right around the time that, did you ever go out to Smoky Mountain?
I didn't go to Smoky Mountain. I went when later when they moved it over to the and then they moved it again, you know. But no, it didn't go out to Smoky Mountain.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, because CMAA ran like
yeah.
82, 83, 84, 85. Then Smoky Mountain took over in the Carolinas. But
Mhm.
for 2 years, Dan Timlin ran the Mid-Michigan stuff, 87 and 88. And that was when Salem started on the circuit also.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
where I tested with him.
All right.
Yeah, but what am I think what am I, white glove? Yeah, I think I got white glove
Cool.
in boxe française, right?
White and yellow glove are hard exams. Good.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, man.
yeah. So yeah, so we had talked a little bit about JKD business.
Mhm.
Nick Faruqi and you had weighed in on it, and I mean, with the mind that you seem to have for professionalism, I
Mhm.
wanted to get your thoughts on that. So you had said stuff about, like, let's talk about how to sell JKD, because
Sure.
in the old days, commercializing was a sin,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Well, if people are
Well,
gonna, yeah, go
it,
ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No,
It was a sin under whose mindset was it a sin? Was it a sin under Joe's? Did he set the tone for that? Was it a sin under Guru Dan? Like, who would you say set that mindset? Or is it the things that we used to say about
yeah,
JKD? It can be taught, but it can't be standardized. You know,
right.
Gen 5 can be taught.
Right. It's not for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's a non-classical system, there's
Mm-hmm.
no way that you can promote it the way the classical or the traditional systems are. So
Mm-hmm.
I came away with an understanding that whatever it is that the Taekwondo schools were doing,
Yeah,
we would do the opposite.
right.
You know. Now,
Yes, but yeah.
I can't really say whose mindset that was. I know that was the impression that I formed, because I don't like to say that people give other people impressions. I like to
Mm-hmm.
say that people form impressions on their own from what they see, from what they observe or what they hear. So I
Yeah.
formed the impression that somehow you couldn't do whatever it is the Taekwondo school was doing to promote JKD.
That's so unfortunate though,
Yeah,
because if that's going to be your life, okay, if that's going to be your livelihood, how do you run that? How do you run that program? Don't you need students, okay? And
yeah,
so if you need students, what's wrong? Because remember, Guru Dan tells us all the time, you can't just go around and be like, I don't like this art. I don't know. You have to have a structure.
hmm
We have first have a structure before you can discard the structure. But you
hmm
have to have a structure. I really hope that people listen to the video that's on YouTube regarding what Guru said about what is Jeet Kune Do, right? He spoke at it at length, and I think it was pretty clear. So he said a person can take karate and taekwondo and wrestling and say that's Jeet Kune Do, but that's their Jeet Kune Do. That's their Jeet Kune Do. It wasn't Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. With Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, you had to have Jun Fan. You had to have
hmm
the trapping. You had to have the striking. You had to have the kicking. You had to have that, those elements for it to be the Jeet Kune Do that Bruce Lee, Joe Bruce introduced to the world.
but you know that somebody in the JKD clan somewhere is going to disagree with you.
Of course, but see, and I understand that, and it's okay to disagree. I'm just, I guess, just repeating
Yeah.
what to me, and I think you agree. Guru Dan is the hub of our JKD world.
Yeah.
He's the hub of our JKD world. So when you listen to him, when you see how he's lived his life, he's lived it in such an honest way. He's never trying to dupe anybody. He's never trying to trick anybody. He lives in such an honest way, and he speaks with such honesty and such modesty that if you want anyone to be a leader and you want to believe what someone is saying, I think he's someone you can believe. Guru Dan is someone you can believe what he's trying to say.
But you know what I tell people? I'll tell people when it comes to Inosanto, all of what you just said is true, but watch out. Remember that he was the lead and ground gainer for his football team in high school and in college. Remember that he ran the 100 yards in 9.6 seconds. Just keep that in mind while you're weighing in on his humility and his integrity and his honesty. Just remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So he was tremendous.
Right.
He was a tremendous athlete.
He's a physical specimen.
Right.
And a lot. I don't know if a lot of people, if they think that way, right? Because they see him now and they go, oh, he's so cool, he's so humble, he's so this. Yeah. And all of that's true.
Yeah.
But that guy can hustle. That guy can bring the pain.
He can bring the pain. He's an athlete. He can bring the pain. He was a good athlete. He could bring. In Detroit, we had the Detroit Lions. We had a guy like that, Barry Sanders, super modest, super humble. He could bring the pain. One of the greatest running backs of all time. And I'm not even a huge football fan, but man, you can't ignore Barry Sanders, just like you can't ignore Michael Jordan. But the reason I brought up Barry Sanders is when he scored a touchdown, did he dance? Did he spike the ball? No. He just gave the ball to the ref.
Yep.
He didn't need to showboat. He didn't need that. He didn't need to tell the world. He's like, I trained. He did his thing.
Are you saying you wish the NFL was still like that?
This is the crazy thing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of boxing. I'm a huge fan of UFC. I will always watch Mayweather fight. I can't stand him. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like it. But I'll watch him fight. He knows what he's doing. So for the boxing world, for as far as putting people in their chairs, he's doing it. And who's his opposite in UFC, right? Who's his guy? Conor McGregor. He doesn't. He also took UFC to another level. Am I crazy about their antics and the way that they act and how they disrespect themselves? No, I'm not. That's why they always say you don't want to meet your heroes. The cool thing about us in our JKD community, we've met our hero Guru Dan, and it's pretty freaking awesome. Like he's the one hero. He's the one hero that you meet, and you're like, this is great, because you never want to. They say you never want to meet your favorite actor because it's just they're gonna let you down. You never want to meet your favorite athlete because he might just say, hey, I'm not taking a picture with you, kid. Like, and he's been your idol all your life. Guru Dan is that, again, he's that one shining star. When you meet him, you're like, this is like better than I ever, even imagined.
Yeah. In your notes, you did mention, so it's the whole thing about.
Around.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, join the club, right? So, so we had touched on the topic of Bruce Lee and Dana White's claim, Bruce Lee being the father of MMA. So weigh in on that for
okay.
me.
I'm gonna weigh in, but honestly, I just want to. I'm saying what Guru Dan educated us on. With all the respect and all the admiration that we have for Cedro Bruce, it's not fair to say he was the father of MMA, because Guru Dan, well, you know how he grabs one of his notebooks from his bags, and he'll flip through the pages, right? He'll flip through the pages, and he's like, here, look at this cage fight with these guys. This is in the Philippines with these guys with the weapons. This was 100 years ago, right? And then I had a side conversation with Guru. I said, well, Guru, how old would you say MMA is? He said, Jay, for as long as there's been martial arts, it's been mixed.
Right.
What exactly is pure? What does pure mean?
Yeah.
So
So
MMA.
what do you think? What do you think? What do you think Dana White was doing when he made the statement?
Using this iconic name and marrying it with the UFC.
Yeah.
And there you go. Bruce Lee, father of MMA. Ooh, oh.
Well, it's called market. It's called marketing.
It's called marketing, but yeah, it's called marketing. There's honest
Yeah.
marketing, and there's
Good. Right. Yeah.
there's what about integrity in marketing?
Exactly. And I think that too. See, that's important. What you just said, because there is a contention among some people out there that sales and marketing are inherently evil. Because everybody has this image of,
The slick sales guy.
Yeah, who sold you something. He tricked you into buying something that you didn't need.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate because now, if you study sales books, if you listen to, let's say, Grant Cardone, if you listen to Peter Voog, if you listen to any of the guys that try to help people become better salesmen, and even some of the really good martial arts business coaches, Brandon Beliso, he'll say it needs to be win-win. It needs to be win-win. When you enroll somebody, because you've had a conversation with them, it needs to be because it's gonna help them achieve their goals. What are their goals these days in martial arts when they come through your doors? I want to learn a new skill, and I want to get fit.
Right.
That's what it breaks down. If they have kids, it's, can you help little Johnny become more confident? They don't come in saying, what sort of system, what is your lineage? They don't come in asking, what's your lineage? They come in asking, can you help little Johnny build some self-respect, or he has no confidence, or discipline.
I'm smiling. I'm smiling because
I see it. I see you smiling.
I'm smiling because I have had people come in and ask me my lineage.
Oh well, no, you're gonna have.
Right.
But see, there's that.
I mean, not all the time.
Right. No, not all the time.
But it was quite a trip when it would happen.
That's the thing, though. Like that 3 to 5% that walk through your doors and say, I want to study Pikiti Tershakali. I want to study this. Like, they know what they want and all that stuff. But honestly, that's the student that's the highest maintenance student, because the ones that come in and say, oh man, I want to learn. I need to get fit. I want to learn self-defense. I'm like, great, you're at the right place. Right. And if someone comes in saying, well, I want to learn, MMA, and I say, well, why do you want to learn MMA? Do you want to go pro? Okay. Well, no, I just want to learn. Okay. So you want to learn some Muay Thai? You want to learn perhaps some BJJ? You want to grapple? Is that what you're saying? So I break it down. I don't just start answering them, say, oh, we don't do that here. Or, oh, that's great, we do that here. I have a conversation with them. This is someone who comes in who's got no prior experience. Why do you want to do MMA? Or you want to go to UFC? What are we talking about here? Are you going to spend your time doing that? Or what are we talking about? Or do you want to one day open your own school? So we got to get into that conversation.
So okay, let's stay with that. So how do you go about reorienting their method of thinking, what they're thinking about? If somebody comes in and they use the vernacular MMA, because that's what everybody calls it today. Like you said earlier, in the old days, your parents called it that karate thing.
Yeah, right? That's what they say. They still call it. I still have to tell them. I still have to tell my mom. I still have to tell her in Aramaic, hey mom. I'm calling my mom after I leave the school, and I'm like, hey mom, how you doing? She's like, good. What are you doing? I said, oh, I just finished teaching karate and I'm going home. What am I going to tell her? Like, I don't know how to say martial arts in Aramaic. I don't think there's a word.
Man, that's yeah. Okay. So I come in to join your school and I tell you I want to learn MMA.
Yeah.
And you say to me, well, what? So you say what to me specifically?
Okay. I say, look, well, do you have any MMA experience? Is there a reason you want to learn MMA? Is it for the fitness, or do you want to be a UFC fighter? they're not going to say, I want to be a UFC fighter.
Right.
They're going to say,
I want to
well,
get in shape.
I want to get in shape.
Yeah.
They kick hard. I want to learn. Okay, you're at the right place, because I have Muay Thai. If it's Muay Thai that you've heard of, it's here.
So
If you know,
so you're making sure that visually you represent the image that they have in their mind of what it is they should be doing if they're training MMA. Are you making sure of that?
what do you mean visually? You mean the way the school looks, or the way that I'm acting?
So that when they go, if they go from the office to watch a class, are they going to see something that's representative of what image they might carry as to what MMA training should look like?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I don't have a cage. I don't have a boxing ring. So if they're dead set on saying, I want to get in the cage, I want to put on those UFC gloves, and I want to do what they do on those shows, I can't do it. I don't have a cage. I don't have a, it's not going to be the school that I run,
Okay.
So our school is different. It's more the passion for the art. It's presenting the art and having it respect our teachers and having it keep going, prolonging the art.
Is that what it? So then that must be connected to what you said. Then teaching multiple different classes is not the recipe for success.
I don't think so. That's why you had an excellent. That's why what you said earlier, you knew exactly what you were talking about. The Taekwondo schools, a JKD person, perhaps back in the day, would look and say, we do the opposite of that. That's unfortunate, because the Taekwondo, okay, look, that's the thing. If you want to make your livelihood as a martial arts school instructor, and JKD is your world, and JKD is what you choose to train in, not Taekwondo, not Karate, not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, the JKD, let's say the JKD that we first learned with all the kickboxing, the Gen Fon, all that, if that's the school you're going to run, you need to codify, you need to have a system that you're going to teach the masses. If it's not for the masses, then we shouldn't have schools. What are we having schools for?
Right.
Just teach in your garage and make a living doing something else. Be a movie star or be an engineer, because even Cesar Bruce, how many schools did he have, right? He had the Seattle school, San Francisco, Chinatown school, LA. They all closed down. That wasn't, look at who it was. You had Cesar Bruce. The thing is, though, you can sell it to 10 people, because 10 people are going to be like, man, I want to be like you. I want to be like you. I'm coming. But if you want to have a successful school and pay the rent and then get married one day and buy a house and buy cars and live the life that you want to live, you're just going to have 10 students? Or do you have to market it to folks that can come in? You're still teaching them the system that Guru taught, that Guru teaches us.
How about I have 10 students, and the 10 students pay me $1,000 a month?
Yeah. All right.
Right? Out of the garage.
Yeah. Okay. I was that was in the back of my mind about 5 minutes ago, I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, fine. Because if you want to make $1 million a year, just break it down. It's how many people paying you $500. You just break it down. Okay. Yeah. If they're going to pay you $1,000 a month, you figured something out, my man. You figured something out.
But here's the thing, JJ. See, to me, this is one of the most fascinating aspects of Jeet Kune Do. No matter what approach you use, whether you want to have the 10 private students that pay $1,000, or you want to have 1,000 students, our art can be molded and manipulated, which is not an evil word, right? No. It can be we can establish a structure and go in any direction that we want to with it.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think we can. But when you say go in any direction, what's an example of going in any direction? You know what I mean?
So I want to run a commercial school. Yeah. The commercial school, what are the necessary ingredients for success in a commercial school? Right? Okay. Okay, so let's say we go, well, you got to have a kids program. I remember when I became the JKD Rebel and I started,
Oh, and I got to ask you about that, by the
yeah,
way. So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
right.
I
Well,
love it.
I'll tell you what it is. I started looking at Jeet Kune Do in a different way, in a way that a lot of my colleagues were not looking at JKD. So, for example, if somebody says, well, Jeet Kune Do is not for kids, I said, have you ever seen a picture of Bruce Lee training Brandon Lee?
Little
Yes.
Brandon on that rock. Yeah.
Well, let's see. So he's training Brandon. Is Brandon a kid? Yes. There's evidence, right?
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, when my kids' program started like this, the dad said to me, my 7-year-old kid wants to do something. I said to the dad, okay, bring him to class with you. Right? And so
to the adult class, like
right?
bring him
So,
to the
yeah, but here's the thing. Decades later, in the Stephen Oliver world, family class became a thing.
Yeah.
I was doing family class.
Oh, before there was family class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah,
that's
sweet.
how our kids program started. And after just a short while of seeing these poor kids mixed in with adults, some of it was fun. I kid you not. Some of it was fun and it was cute and there was bonding and what have you. But then I kind of realized it might not be completely fair to the kids to do that. And that's when we split it off.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
But
So you did this organically.
Yes.
You figured things out as you. So did you have when was this when you were
This
doing
would have been anytime after 1992.
Did you have a business coach?
No.
There was no such thing.
No. My business coach was Dan Inasano. Right? It's like, get a warehouse. I mean, he didn't say this to me. I just looked at what he had done.
You looked,
right? Yeah, right? Get a warehouse and put up some bags and go for it.
And people will come.
They will come. And they
But
did come.
you did say that you said, you said something, Jeet Kune Do, and people flocked to you.
Yes.
So tell how that happened. When was that people just flocked to Jeet Kune Do, and how did they know to flock to Jeet Kune Do? Was it adults? Was it parents, kids?
No. So in the warehouse was the warehouse was April of 1988.
88.
Yes.
All right.
April of 1988.
Mm-hmm.
And so that spread predominantly through word of mouth. Okay?
Yeah.
And then in 1989, October of 1989, I brought Dan Inasano to Miami.
Okay.
So back in those days, you would put an ad for free on the event pages of Inside Kung Fu.
Yeah. Oh my God, I got a story for you. All right,
Right?
keep going.
So this is where people saw that Dan Inasano was coming to Miami. So that was a plug for us. Now more people were aware that there was a JKD school in Miami. By that time, we had also run a phone line into the warehouse. And so there was a phone and there was a Yellow Pages ad.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay.
That's awesome. So,
Right?
oh my God. So there you go.
And you know what the
So,
Yellow Pages ad was?
No.
It was Inasano's business card, but with my information.
Wow. Yeah, that's totally sounds like that's what would have happened. That's what someone would have had to do at that time. That's great. Okay, so you were talking about the was it Inside Kung Fu, right? You had a free. Okay, so the Lance. Let's bring some things in here. The Lansing connection. Okay, that you and I both have. You don't know about mine yet. Here we go. The Lansing connection. Nancy, right? The woman that first trained me.
The sword lady, yeah.
The sword lady. So she had a subscription to Black Belt magazine. Okay. That summer, I just won that competition that we were talking about, the no holds barred competition,
Yeah.
armbar tournament, fought in the final. I haven't talked about the finals yet, but that's okay. I was over there hanging out with Mike. I saw Black Belt magazine on the coffee table. I said, Mrs. Redmond, can I borrow the magazine? She said, yeah, sure, of course. Took it, sitting on my porch, summer day, beautiful outside. I'm sitting on my porch. I read cover to cover, even the classifieds. Thank goodness I read the classifieds. There he was in a business card sized ad. Okay, black and white in the classifieds in the back of Black Belt magazine. This is June 1995, or June. I'm flipping. There he is. I'm like, it said, Danny DeSanto in Michigan, Lansing, Michigan. I'm like, what? He's coming here? Like, what's he doing here? I flipped out.
Yeah.
And I ran over to the Redmond's house. I said, Nancy, look who's coming. Look who's come. Look at this. Because from age 14 to age 18, I was reading everything. Dallo of Jeet Kune Do. I mean, I saw Dragon the Bruce Lee story, right? Now, despite its historical inaccuracies, the influence it had on me was immense, because I said, that's it. I said, that's it. That's it. And then so I read and read and read, found out about who's Danny DeSanto. Oh my goodness, they were best friends for 10 years. They were together that long. We're talking 9 years, 1964 to 7. Whoa. I ran over there. I said, Nancy, he's going to be here in a month. In a month, can we go? Can we go? And I'm freaking out the whole time, because I'm like, I got to ask my parents. They're not. I mean, they're going to be like, we're going to pay, we're going to give you money so you can go to Lansing, so you can do more of this stuff. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? So, but they said, yeah. They said, yes, as long as your sister goes with you. I said, cool. I said, Flora, will you go? She's like, yeah, let's go. I was like, oh my God, I love you. Let's do this. So we did it. We booked the hotel. We went, right? All three of us. It was Nancy, Flora, and myself. And we went. And Lansing was where I met Guru. And I met Guru David and Linda Hatch. I met Chris. I met Steve Acho, who still trains today. Great, cool guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool.
I wonder if I was at, whose school was it at?
It was not at the school. It was at Soccer World or something. It was in a huge soccer dome. Yeah.
Man, I probably didn't make that one. I'll tell you, here's the most vivid memory I have of going to a seminar in Michigan. Somehow I ended up in Canada.
you kept going up to 75.
Somehow
Ambassador Bridge, baby.
I ended up in Canada.
Oh man, I believe it. You had no GPS, my friend. You were using maps. You were using maps, folding them things open. Like, where am I going? Oh man, I remember those days. I remember that.
Yeah. So.
Oh
okay.
Man. They were like, you gotta turn back.
Yeah.
Sir, Detroit is over there.
Yeah, it took a few years. I was probably going for Martial Arts Unlimited. It was probably their seminar. I can't remember. But I've been to Michigan a number of times in the old days. Okay, so we're talking about school stuff and what have you. All right. So one of the other things you mentioned, the public is confused about JKD because in the JKD family, we still fight over it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But what you and I were trying to establish there is that the structure that I realized the Taekwondo schools had, I realized that we could have that same structure.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We can totally have that structure.
Yeah.
And it can be totally within the concept of what JKD is. You remember, you got, when you bring a guy in, he doesn't know how to throw a punch. So you don't just tell the guy, whatever you think a punch is, that's a punch. That's not JKD. No. Even Joe Bruce, we know his quote: before I trained in the arts, a punch was just a punch, a kick was just a kick. When I began training in the arts, a punch was no longer a punch, a kick was no longer a kick. After, a lot of time, it revolved. He said a punch was just a punch and a kick was just a kick. But that person coming in, you got to give them some basics. What do you got to start people out with? Step and slide and step, push shuffle. They got to have footwork. I was a big student of boxers.
Right.
One of the greatest boxers that I loved watching.
I knew I liked you for a reason.
Why?
Because if the next time that you and I and a bunch of my students are at a seminar,
yes,
when Sifu Inasano says, okay, I want you guys to shadow box and warm yourselves up, take a look over at my group and you will see we are the only group that warms up with footwork. Everybody else goes to technique immediately to like 4-count combination or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
We go to footwork.
Smart.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to impress, you're trying to express. Sifu Dave tells me this all the time. If you're too busy trying to impress, you can't express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're expressing yourself, you will impress. And so when you said, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to warm up properly. We're not going to start out with the 4-count with the kicks. We're going to do step. We're going to do footwork.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. But what you were saying earlier, you were saying, okay, so how do you have the structure? We can totally have a structure and run a professional school.
Yes.
A professional school the right way.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. Once the student knows punching and cross and kicking and a little bit of movement and how to do a leg sweep and all that stuff. But you know what? I was almost going to say, okay, then they can, why is it when someone is like, okay, thanks for teaching me the jab. I did it about 10 times. What else you got? What?
Yeah.
Okay, go do that jab 1,000 times. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like who are we to try to be these system gatherers, but I can't even do a proper pick something, a proper throw. I can't even with my weapons I can't even show Guru or you 5 disarms from sector 1. Who am I to be like, Sifu Dwight, okay, show me sector 2, 3, and 4. Come on. Like, what is that? Why do we do that? Why can't we train sector 1 for a month?
Yeah.
Before there's that sense of
okay.
I'm ranting. I'm sorry.
No. So here's what I did. Because there's always the student who will let you know that he or she is very interested in what comes next.
Yes.
And then there are the students who are also interested in what comes next, but they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
So on Saturday mornings, we had review class. And the review class, we reviewed as a group phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 material. So the phase 1 guy, he got to experience the phase 3 material. Now he sucked at it, but it wasn't being withheld from him.
Right.
So he could never accuse me of hiding the good stuff. It's like, no, look, here's the good stuff. Oh, look, you suck at it. Right? How do you get to be good at it? Stay in the class and train your butt off. And that solved a lot of things.
Yeah. That's very well said. That if you go deep into studying Wing Chun, after the first form, Sinum Tao, you have Chun Kyu, you have Buji form, you have Bat Cham Do, you got the Dragon Pull. You want to learn the Mukyang Jang. But they say in the Wing Chun community, they say that Sinum Tao is the most important form.
Yes.
It's the most important form. Why are we so quick to want to learn the entire Jong? Why are we so quick? It's like, dude, improve your Sinum Tao. You'll be more effective. What's the goal? Are we just gathering? Again, are we just collecting? Or do we want to be proficient?
Yeah. Well, it's the whole what comes next. People assume that which comes next is the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a beginner, I can't possibly be learning the good stuff.
Right. I know.
the good
Right.
stuff comes at black belt.
No, black
Right?
belt just means you're ready to learn more.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. So again, in a high quality traditional system, Japanese system, maybe even a Korean system, they will tell you that. They will tell you that black belt just means you're now ready to learn.
Mhm.
We can use that in JKD,
Sure, we can.
right?
Of course,
We can so it's like, so there's like not a single reason why JKD cannot be commercially promoted. There's not a good reason. Look, if Shotokan, you have to start with Kihon. You have to start with the basics. And then you have to take a bunch of the basics and put them together in the kata.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I can show you 4 techniques and then put it into a kata called 4 count.
That's right.
Right?
That's
You
right.
know?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so there's nothing that they do that we cannot do.
We just have to not be ashamed of. We gotta be proud of it.
Yeah.
We have this schizophrenia. We have this. Be proud of it. Do it, and don't put others down that are trying to do it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they pay respect to their instructors, their lineage,
Mm-hmm.
that's all. That should mean, that to me is a given. If you know, if the instructor was a good instructor, because there's always that too. How did he treat the students? How did
Yeah.
he treat the school?
Yeah.
There's always that. That's why just the statement, honor thy father and thy mother, to me, it's not enough. There's a lot of qualifying questions I have regarding that. Same thing with a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how was the teacher really interested in your for your benefit? What kind of person was it? We are not all good teachers are good people.
Right.
So if as long as you respect your lineage and those who, because for me to be a teacher, I don't want to just, people should respect me because I need to earn it. I realize that every day.
Yeah.
I need to earn it. And I hope that my students can feel what exudes from me, which is really me wanting them to see the beauty of what I learned.
Yeah. I think that schizophrenia that you talked about, I think it manifests itself in a couple of ways. The people like you, like me, who went in pursuit of Inasano, right? Versus the people who then come to us,
Mm-hmm.
to use us to get that. When I met Cass Magda in 1983, right?
Yeah.
Probably by the end of the week, I said to Cass, I go, look, I get it. You will never know if people are interested in you for you, or if they're interested in you in order to get closer to Inasano. I go, I got it. He and I have been friends for 36 years.
That's beautiful.
That's
beautiful. We need more of those kinds of relationships. We need more of those kind of real relationships, because there are a lot of people that are genuinely close to Guru, and then there are the folks that want to be close to them, but it's more for what they can do for them. It's sort of that Hollywood celebrity thing, I think Chris Harley really said it well about sort of that community, that not necessarily the not the Inasano community, but the kind of that LA lifestyle. Everyone's got a script, or they're a screenwriter, and they're talking to you, and you think they're dialoguing with you at first. This is if you're not educated, if you're from out of town and you don't understand. but really they're trying to see what you can do for them.
Yeah.
And it's that insecure.
Is that Chris Harley of Fractal?
Yeah.
Is it Fractal Martial Arts? Yeah.
I think this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, so
he's cool. I love that guy.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, right? See, because I was talking to Bert Richardson about this. I've heard the name Chris Harley before,
Yeah.
but somehow I ended up on his site, and all I needed to see was that fractal martial art thing, and I was like,
Okay.
that's a guy whose brain I gotta get into.
You do.
You know, that's
and
all.
that-
That's all I had to see.
Totally. He's very cerebral. You could tell he puts a lot of thought into his actions, what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the kind of guys who's more about expression, not impression.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of high regard for him. I haven't seen him in about a year, so I look forward to seeing him this year, though.
Yeah.
Christopher, if you were watching.
Yeah,
I look
man.
forward to seeing him.
I mean, you know, because that is one of the reasons for doing this. I've come across so many unique personalities in the JKD world.
Yeah.
And like I've said repeatedly, we're one of the biggest martial art families there is out there.
Yeah.
That nobody knows. Like you said, everybody knows Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is immensely popular. Why isn't the JKD popular?
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. That's right. The JKD is not popular because because this is the thing. It's the difference between studying the art or having a school that's more centered around the personality, a personality-driven school. A personality-driven school is not going to be as, say, commercially successful as a systems-driven school, like Taekwondo, right? It's not about necessarily the teacher. You just need a program. You need systems in place.
Okay, I'm smiling again. I'm smiling again.
Yes.
I'm smiling again because when you said that, I go, huh. So you're talking then about a business that is product oriented versus being systems oriented.
Product oriented.
Yeah. Right. See, so if we run a business and the products that we offer, that's what's central, as opposed to the way we run the business is by having particular business systems in place. I don't know how far we'll get. You know, who is your business coach for martial art?
So I've had a few over the years. My first main one was in 2014. It was Stephen Oliver.
Okay.
When I opened up my school, I said I'm gonna do this right.
Yeah.
So
well,
I was with
he
him.
Definitely did it right.
Yeah. He's got a strong program. Some people might not like his style, the way he communicates. You know, I was with him for about 12 months. But I left that because I think I was falling into that group where I wasn't. Well, that's a whole other thing. But then, there were so many things that he taught me that I learned from him that I was able to implement that worked.
Of course.
And he was one of the ones that talked about the win-win. When you first talk to him or learn about him or listen to one of his lectures or whatever, you kind of feel, is he that salesman-y guy? But then you realize, no, he is into the win-win, but it's a mix.
Yeah.
But someone I found that was a really good business coach. I think Don Guerin is pretty sharp. I think he knows what he's doing. But as far as like big scale, big school, Brandon Beliso.
Okay.
And I don't think a lot of people have heard of him because he's a low-key guy. He's got a different approach.
Yeah.
He's not all about contracts. He takes it to another level when you listen to him talk. So I got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
I was listening to him for a long time. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool.
I noticed that your website is a full contact online marketing website.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's
Mike Perella's group.
That's Mike Perella. Mark Mills opened my eyes to that.
Okay.
So they helped me put the site together. I need to get, I want to modify it because I want it to be more the way I want, because they have like a system, the way that they do things.
They have a template that they
have a
use
template
for everything. Yeah.
And they really don't want you using your own stuff. Like to get the photos that I got on there, I had to convince them these are high-res photos. You're gonna like them. They had to be high, and I like that. I like the high because I wanted my school to be an upscale, very nice boutique sort of school.
Right.
That was the thing. But I don't think you're gonna get very far if everything is stock images. If everything is stock, you can look and you're like, That's not that school.
Exactly.
That's not, so,
Exactly.
but they use a lot of stock. They use a
Yeah.
lot of, it's all stock. I
Yeah.
had to, I'm like, no, but if you want me to sign up, you're using these. And they were high res. And so we use them on the front page of our
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the early days, it might have been hard for the average individual to come up with high-res photos, but
Of
today,
course.
come on,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Today, no problem.
I've never been a fan of the coaching and consulting companies that do that, that use the stock images, because then, yeah, and they will tell you, oh, well, nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
But there just seemed to me something about it that was not authentic, so that if I look at the website for this guy's school, how come he's got the same testimonials as this other person?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I didn't like that that aspect of it at all. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, it's something there's the stock images that we have. I'm going to replace them with stuff that we have. So that's just me I have to get to it, but
Okay.
It's something I want to do. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned also, so this one I have to take issue with you, right?
Oh,
but
okay. No.
I'll go easy on you because your parents are transplants, but you were born here, right?
No, I was born back home too. I was born in Iraq.
Oh, okay. Well, then then I'll go easy on you. So here's the note. So here's the note that JJ passed to me. He goes,
"Oh no!
Can martial arts be both unified and plural?"
Yes. Okay.
Right? Can martial arts be both unified and plural, as in United States? Now, I should have known better than to get into a war of words with a guy who talks, debates, discusses, and argues for a living. Right? Okay.
Yes.
So break down what it is you think you mean when you say that.
Ooh, I think I mean. Way to frame this one. So what do I think I mean?
Yeah.
I hope you enlighten me. But, because I noticed you say martial art.
Yes.
You say martial art. Sule Welch, awesome guy, close friend of mine. He also told me why he says martial art.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, he also says martial art.
Okay.
Singular.
Interesting.
And I think that this came up actually when I was watching your dialogue with Nick Faruqi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's where it came up, because either you or he said you can't have something that's both singular and not plural, but singular and something at the same time. What I wrote to you in my email.
Okay.
And I said, well, and a quick example came to mind. Well, United States, unified martial art, or can you say unified martial arts?
You can't.
But you can or you can't.
You cannot.
You cannot say unified martial arts?
Nope.
Enlighten us, please, sir.
Okay. You ready?
Please.
This is why my school is named Unified Martial Art Academy.
Yeah.
Are you Jeet Kune Do? Or is Jeet Kune Do merely something that you practice or you train? Or is Jeet Kune Do something that that either you have become or that you are on the way towards becoming?
That wasn't rhetorical.
That's not rhetorical.
You're asking me, are you Jeet Kune Do, or is it
Are
something
you
you merely
Jeet Kune Do?
practice, or is it on your...
Yes.
Now, if you think of a quote that we might all know, I don't hit, it hits all by itself.
Okay.
If that's the direction you're going, if that's the way that my mindset should be, then I am Jeet Kune Do.
Yes. Okay. So Jeet Kune Do ultimately is something that we all become. It is what separates us from everybody else out there. They do karate, they practice karate, they take karate, or whatever. Have you ever heard any of them say they have become karate? Doesn't happen. Dan Inosanto is JKD. Walking, living, talking, breathing JKD. That is what we are all in pursuit of. Unus fio. You studied law. You know Latin. Unus fio. What does that mean?
So it's not the fidelity.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Unus fio. I become one.
all right.
It is the root of the English word unified. So the whole purpose of my school is for the students to become one with the art, to be Jeet Kune Do. Cannot pluralize it.
And that's why the whole name of the school is what it is, unified.
Yes.
You're already thinking Unus
Yes.
Fio. You're already there.
Mm-hmm.
You could have named it unified, but then you had to seal that envelope with martial art.
Yeah.
I see it. It has
See,
to be.
here's the thing. See, it's like, so I get pissed off when I'm watching the news and there's a news report about a family and somebody coming back to the family and they talk about the reunification. It's not reunification. It's reunion. There's a difference between unified and united. The United Nations is a bunch of separate countries that have joined together as a group. They're not one country. The United States, by the way, is a bunch of separate countries that have joined together and they have a headquarters in Washington, D.C. But that's why you would have to take the bar again if you move to the country known as Arizona, because you live in the country called Michigan.
Why do you call it a country?
Because it is a country.
State?
I'll tell you why it's state, country, whatever. People look at the continent of Africa and they know that they're all different countries. When you look at the continent of North America, chop Canada off, even though you guys in Michigan are pretty much Canadians, right?
Love my Canadian family.
That's a bunch of separate countries also. That's why everybody has their own Supreme Court. Everybody has their own laws because they're separate countries. We just happen to use the term state, but they're all separate. And there's an agreement. There's an agreement to come together and be known collectively as one country called the United States. But not everything that goes on in Michigan is identical to what goes on in Florida.
This is true.
Because we're separate. We got separate flags. We have our own flag. And then there's a flag, right, that covers the United States. Because I'm not going to go intercede with Sweden as Florida by myself.
Right.
Right? If we go country to country, we're going to go United States to Sweden. We're not going to go, even though we could, right? We're not going to go Florida to Sweden by itself, right? I actually do liken that somewhat to the state of affairs that we have in Jeet Kune Do. Because we're all independent Jeet Kune Do instructors. And you do things the way you do things. I do things the way I do things. They're not identical, but they're definitely similar. Because you're going to have, because we have the same origin. So many of us have Bruce Lee, Dan Inosanto, Taki Kimura, Ted Wong, James Lee, whatever, as our source. So we're going to have commonalities. But for some reason, those commonalities do not help us to do this. They do this instead.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's just a human nature thing, because it's not exclusive to JKD. I mean, Masoyama, Kyokushin has so many offshoots. So it happens in martial art.
It happens.
But this just happens to be the martial art family to which I am dedicated. So
that's right.
That's why.
But if I were to take your argument,
yeah,
regarding the different states, different flags, all that stuff. What if we went even deeper? What if
Mm-hmm.
we said, okay, let's look at one country, state.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the state slash country of Florida. Let's look at it. There's different cities. Different cities have different ordinances as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So are you also going to make the argument that these cities have also decided that they're going to unify under this land, and it's called Florida, and we're gonna, I mean, are we gonna go there as well?
Yeah. Yeah, because these cities will have made agreements with each other
Yeah, they did.
to be part. So when you incorporate, you do make an agreement with the state of Florida, because you do become part of the state of Florida when you incorporate a city or a county or whatever. So yes, but see, this was covered in an episode of the Jeet Kune Do broadcast, right?
Okay.
Talking about levels and layers.
Then we'll direct everyone's attention to that, and we'll leave it alone here. I'm sorry about
Right?
that.
But see, this is the thing, right? See, this is why the art and philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, because we somebody comes across it and go, look at these two crazy guys talking about Florida and the United States. We're actually talking about Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. We're talking about, right?
Of course, yeah. We never
But
left the
we
topic.
know that.
yeah. And I think our listeners will know that. If they're listening to our conversation, they'll know that. If they listen to this dialogue from the beginning, they'll know some, especially the ones, of course, the ones in our family. But there's also folks that don't know the JKD. So yeah.
Yeah, no, because I mean, look, all you got to do is to take the transcript of this dialogue and replace state, country, Florida, or whatever with boxing, grappling.
I love it.
Right?
Right.
You know?
But this is the thing. Okay, but those are all arts, aren't they?
No.
Boxing is an art.
No.
It is a style, right?
No.
There's a system.
No.
It's not. What is boxing? What is boxing?
Boxing is a Jeet Kune Do training method.
Okay. Now, before there was Jeet Kune Do, that's beautiful. It is.
Right. It is right.
Before Jeet Kune Do was coined.
Yes.
Boxing was boxing.
Of course.
Right. Karate was karate. Taekwondo was taekwondo.
Yes. And
fencing was fencing.
And they still are for people outside of the JKD clan.
Okay, wait a second then. Then we got a problem on our hands. See,
okay.
We have a problem.
Okay.
Okay, then in JKD schools, okay, our family, there are schools that will teach, okay, and they have their own right. They have a Wing Chun class.
Yes.
Then they have a Jun Fan trapping class.
Yes.
Then they have a Muay Thai class.
Yes.
Then maybe they'll have a BJJ class.
Yes. Those are all JKD training methods. Yes.
Separated by different hours in the class day, saying, okay, well, you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that.
What you better have in your school is a class where all of that
is blended.
Thank you.
Blended.
Thank you.
Now, in order to, I would say, be efficient with time, what I've done is, because that would be, I feel for my brothers and sisters in the JKD community that do the following. 4:30 is Kali. 5:30 is Wing Chun. 6:30 is maybe Savat. 7:30 is Muay Thai. Wait, whoa. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I blend it, and I have what's called a rotating curriculum. 2 weeks, we focus on this. Boom.
I'm smiling again.
Because you love me. Say it.
I'm smiling again. Because from whom did you learn about the rotating curriculum?
I think it may not be where I first heard it, but I think Brandon Beliso is the one who settled it in my mind. Because I had a hard time for a long time. I'm like, what are they talking about, and how the heck do I do that?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I believe he is the originator of it, and I got it straight from him. Dave Kovar. Do you know Dave Kovar?
I think, yeah, oh, yes. Yes. And I think Brandon got it from Dave. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
I got it straight from Dave Kovar, right?
And yeah, totally.
So dig this, right? I'm sitting there, I'm listening to him, and I'm going, holy crap, this is exactly what we need.
Yes.
And then, you know what came to my mind?
Tell me.
The Junfan symbol, the yin yang with the two arrows.
Yeah.
That is the symbol for rotating curriculum.
How did you do that? Tell me, how did you do that?
I saw it. Because what do the arrows do? The arrows keep renewing, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly how you structure your rotating curriculum.
That's right. You got to bring it back.
So yeah. It was, once again, it was one of those serendipitous moments in JKD where I'm listening to the karate people talk their stuff, and I run it through an immediate filter. When I hear them talk, I run it through the JKD filter in my mind, so that what I write down is, I'm already think, this is how it will be applied in my school. Yeah. This is how we will do it.
Yeah, that's right. You got to do that.
Yeah, so sometime after that, it probably was the handbook that I created that we would give to prospects, and I wanted a symbol for the rotating curriculum, and I realized that the Junfan logo was it.
That you already had it.
Yes,
we already had it.
Yes,
that's cool. That's cool.
We already look. You know why we already had it? We already had it because Bruce Lee had personalized stationery, membership pins, membership cards, business cards. Yeah. And he didn't even have a school.
I know. I know. He was trying to figure things out. You know, he was trying to figure things out. You know what? When I listen to you, what's wonderful about just listening to you is you are able to find these commonalities in things that people would not make the connections with. You're able to make these connections.
If they can't do it, it's because they didn't listen to Dan and Asano.
But your mind is open. Not everybody can take that. Not everybody can get it. You can listen.
That's where I got it from.
That's beautiful. This is the thing. We can all go to a lecture back in the early 1900s and listen to Albert Einstein speak about the theory of relativity, right? Is he not educating us on what it is? Is everybody gonna get it?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Is everybody? So when Guru Dan, this is what is happening. When Cedro Bruce spoke, maybe it was like that. When Guru Dan speaks to those of us who want to learn, and we are listening. We're taking notes. I have piles and piles of notes, and we're taking notes. But I don't think everyone can consume it. You are taking it. You have the filter. You have that JKD filter. You break it down and you find the root and the commonality. I think that's what helps make you who you are.
Yeah. Well, I remember. Do you know who John Graydon is?
No.
Okay. So Stephen Oliver, I guess when you were with Oliver, was it still under the NATMA umbrella?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, he rescued NATMA out of bankruptcy or something, I think. John Graydon started NATMA, the National Association of Professional Martial Artists. Yeah. And I got involved with NATMA for this reason. They announced cardio karate. And here's what they said. We're going to wear sneakers. We're going to wear sweatpants and T-shirts, and we're going to play music.
And you're like, please.
And I'm like, that's my stuff.
Yeah, you're like, who's trying to reinvent something over here? You're like, hello.
But what I realized is that they knew how to market and sell it.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I don't get involved with them, they're going to
Yeah.
come in and they're going to take the Junfan kickboxing approach and they're going to make a mint with it and leave me in the dust.
Yeah.
And that's when I joined NATMA.
Good move. Good move.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good move. Yeah, because they were going to make it fresh again.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't realize we had something. For us, it was like, yeah, that's what we do. For us, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But they took a fresh approach and made it new.
Yeah. See, because part of the problem with us is that it's what you said before. We don't think that what we have is special.
It's like we do and we don't.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
do.
The,
we do.
the schizophrenic approach.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Why do we flock? Why do
agree.
we flock? Why do we go to LA? Why do we do?
Yeah.
But we also don't, because you'll also see after 20 years or 30 years of folks seeing Guru, and let's say he's going over the JKD5 count, right? All the different variables, right? Mm-hmm. Start with the now tech, cross hook cross, now tech, right? Start with the now tech, cross body hook cross uppercut, cross body head. We do, but then we don't, because then you still have guys saying, what was number 4 and 5 again? Dude, what? Don't you understand what you're being given here? Like so it's like we do, but then we don't. Because if you did, you would hang on to that.
Okay.
You would hang on to that.
Okay. I agree with you.
I'm being tough. I'm being tough on our brothers and sisters.
No, I agree with you. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Have you ever noticed that Inasano will never call me up to demonstrate that stuff?
Yeah, can I tell you something? Wait. Specifically that, or anything in general?
Well, no, that stuff.
Oh, okay, like the JKD5 count?
Yeah, he won't call me up. Do you know why?
Wow.
Because we do not go, right, parry the kick, for example, and then throw the cross.
Okay.
He knows that I have my own number and system for that stuff.
All right.
Right? So, yeah.
Which he encourages.
Exactly.
No. This is beautiful.
Exactly.
This is beautiful. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You see?
Absolutely.
Because the very first time that I saw that stuff, I was like, look, and I actually stole this from a student of mine who Mario's propensity would be to slip the jab in on the half beat before the cross hook cross. He would, so for example, you shoulder roll and then you go cross hook cross. Not Mario. Yeah. Mario would go shoulder roll and snap the back fist.
Yeah, sweet.
And I was like, that's it. Because the lead hand and the lead foot are supposed to be primary.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
cross hook cross became for us the half beat lead hand and then cross hook cross.
That's beautiful. And oh my God, like if Guru were listening, if he listens right now, I'm sure if you told him already, he's like, yes, that's what has to happen. This creativity and things that happen.
No, that doesn't happen. I'll go to him. I'll go, oh, Sifu, look, so we're doing this. He'll go, we used to do that in the 70s.
Yes. Or that. Because what does he say all the time? He'll say, things that you think you invented, right, have already been, and we're like, yep, thank you. We've already done it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. So my phone is about to die, right?
Yes, sir.
I had it up to 97%, but I think we've been having such a good time that I didn't realize what we're doing. Listen, I really, really appreciate your taking the time.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
I'm honored to be on the show, and I hope that our listeners benefited from it. I'm so grateful. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. All right, take care. We'll talk again soon. All right?
All right, I look forward to it.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
All right, man.
All right, bye.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, that was fun. Okay, so I got to close this up before the power runs out. So that was episode number 44 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with JJ Dallo. Check him out at dallomartialarts.com in Southfield, Michigan. Let's see. Coming up next Friday on the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues, which would be January 25th. We should be crossing the pond, as they say, with George Johnson of Hybrid Fight Academy. I think that's still the name he's carrying it by. And remember to sign up for notifications for when we go live on Facebook. As many of you as possible, please join the group I Love Jeet Kune Do, because sometimes I'm forced to go between my Facebook page and the group page for when we do both the broadcast and the dialogue. So please join the group over there so that you'll always be in touch with me. Sign up for notifications when we go live. And then also remember that if you miss the live event, you can go to the YouTube, and we've got the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast channel, and we've got the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues channel, both available for you. At ilovejeetkundo.com, the Quick Skills series, Volume 1 is still available. At jkdrebel.com/store. Take a look around there. I keep working on it and working on it and working on it, adding stuff, taking stuff down, modifying stuff. But find something to purchase. Proceeds from that go towards upgrading the offerings here on the show. And feel free to like, share, comment, dislike, ask questions about this. And I think that's it. Right? You guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you here next week for another episode of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. Take care. Have a good one. Enjoy the week, the morning.